Let's talk about VPN. You might have heard of VPN already, and you might have also used it in your day-to-day life. We have seen that it keeps you safe from the internet, and you might have wondered how VPN does this behind the scenes. So let's get to know this in today's video. Let's see how the VPN works behind the scenes. Before jumping into how VPN works behind the scenes, we'll need to first understand some of the terminologies. First thing that we need to understand is your source IP. Source IP is nothing but your machine using which you are trying to access the internet. This is your laptop, computer, your mobile phone, anything. Second thing, which is there in the picture, is the ISP, particularly your ISP. ISP is someone who is provider of the internet. So you might have some ISP to which you are paying your internet bills, and in return, it provides you access to internet. It checks whether you have paid the bills or not, and then based on that, it allows you to access the internet. So this is the second important thing which comes into the picture. And the third thing which comes into the picture is the DNS. DNS is the actual internet. All the site mapping is there in the DNS. So these are the three important things which are coming into the picture, and we'll need to remember that. Now, let us take a case where you're not using VPN. So this case, you're not using VPN. So what happens when you try to access the internet? So let's say you have a computer, and then you are actually trying to access facebook.com. So now there are two things which comes in. One becomes the source IP, which is nothing but your machine's IP using which you can be located. This is the destination's IP to which you are actually trying to make the call to. So now we have both source and the destination. So when you are making the call to destination, one thing which comes into picture is your ISP. What your ISP does in this case is when you're trying to access the internet, typical thing happens is you send some information to your ISP. This information contains the source IP and the destination IP. Along with that, in practical, you can send some of the encrypted data also along with that. Encrypted data could be your details which you're providing. Let's say you're signing up for facebook.com or something, right? So you can send some encrypted packets along with the source and destination information. So these three information, you're actually providing it to your ISP. And then what ISP does is it takes the destination IP and get it from the DNS server. It asks from the DNS server the details. DNS provides it the response. It gets the response and then returns it back to you. This is how you typically access the internet without using VPN. So now you have this site presented to you. And now the problem without using VPN is that your ISP knows what you are actually browsing because you are sending destination IP to your ISP. Now, in theory, if they try to do some reverse engineering, they can practically and theoretically know what you're trying to access on the internet. So this is the problem. You don't want to expose what you're trying to access. Now, the second thing or the second picture will come in when you are using the VPN. Now, let's take the case where you are actually trying to use the VPN. So let's see how the flow happens in case of VPN. So we have seen these three terminologies as of now. Now, with VPN, we'll have one more terminology comes into picture, which is your VPN provider or VPN's ISP or whatever you call it. Now, this is your VPN, which has came into picture. In a non-VPN environment, your ISP knows what you are trying to access. And the problem happens with the destination IP, right? Destination IP is something which your ISP knows that you're trying to access the site. What if we somehow hide this destination IP? And that's exactly what happens when you are using VPN. Now that we have seen the case with the non-VPN internet access, now let's see an example how it works with VPN. So in case of VPN also, first thing will remain same. You still have your desktop as your source IP, which has a VPN installed. It could be from any provider, but you have VPN installed. Your ISP is still in the picture, and along with that, there is one more thing which will come into picture is your VPN provider. We'll see how this comes into the picture, and now again you are still sending the source IP and destination IP to your ISP along with some encrypted packets. But this time, your destination IP is something special. Now, the destination IP is not the actual destination which you are trying to point out, but the destination is the VPN provider's IP. So you see the difference here. Now you're not telling your ISP what is the actual site you're trying to access. Rather, in the destination, it's always sending the VPN provider's IP. So what happens here? Your ISP doesn't know the actual IP which you are actually trying to access. Now, in that case, the question is, how does the I get the actual site which I wanted to request? In that case, we can use this encrypted packet to encrypt the data. Now, this encrypted packet has the information about the actual destination which you're trying to access, and this can be only decrypted by your VPN provider, and only your VPN provider knows how to decrypt it, and then decrypting the actual destination. So now the call from ISP goes to the VPN, and it contains all the encrypted packets. And in the encrypted packet, we have the actual destination. Now, what VPN provider does, VPN provider needs to also access the internet. So now it's your VPN provider's ISP which comes into picture. This is nothing but your VPN provider's ISP. So when VPN provider sends the request to their ISP, this sends it the source and destination IP. Now the source IP is your VPN provider's IP. Source, and then destination is the actual destination which you are trying to access, and now it has got the information from the encrypted packet, and then the ISP goes to DNS and gets the actual site. Now it has gone to DNS with the actual destination. DNS sends the response back, and then the response comes to VPN provider. VPN provider sends the response back to your ISP, and then the ISP sends a response back to you. And the difference here is in the whole picture, no one along apart from your VPN provider knows that what you are trying to access from the internet. Even your VPN provider will give you safety that your source IP is kept secret and it's not sharing anything with anyone. So in that case, you see the difference that how you're becoming safe in case of using VPN, right? Let's compare both the scenario. In the first scenario, where you're not using VPN, the source and destination actual IPs are being shared with your ISP, and ISP can, in practical, reverse engineer and know what you're trying to access on the internet. In case of VPN, what you're sending as a destination is always your VPN provider's IP. So your ISP doesn't know what you are actually trying to access, along with the encrypted packet. So packet gets sent to VPN provider, and only VPN provider knows how to decrypt that packet. Now VPN provider decrypts the packet, knows the source actual destination. It calls the uh, ISP to access the internet, and then finally their ISP returns back the response, right? So this is how you actually use VPN provider to hide your identity from the internet. In this case, no one actually knows like what you're trying to access. You are the one making the request. In the VPN case, you might have also seen some use cases where you're trying to relocate yourself from India to, let's say, US, right? Some sites may be banned in India, but you can access them from US. So how does VPN do all those stuff? Let us get understand that next. So how VPN changes your location? The answer lies in here itself, in VPN provider's location. So let's say you want to change your location from India to US. In that case, VPN provider has their server in multiple locations. They can have their servers located in, let's say, US. They can have their servers located in Europe, and they can have their servers located in any other country. So typically, when you're trying to access the internet, the actual internet, the way you are trying to access the internet is from this place, your this ISP. If the VPN provider um, is located in, let's say, US, you are actually accessing the internet from US. If it's located in Europe, you are actually practically accessing internet from Europe, right? So you get the idea that how you can actually change how VPN provider changes your location, and that's the VPN provider's location which gets changed, and eventually you are able to access the data because that ISP can access those sites, and that's pretty much very interesting. I hope that's clear. If not, please do comment out, and thank you. Bye bye.